tous, encore une nouvelle année et une nouvelle journée avec Grenoble Indian Film Festival 2021. Je suis ravie de vous avoir aujourd'hui avec plusieurs réalisateurs que nous avons de l'Inde, mais également de l'Inde et de Bangladesh. Nous avons également demandé cette année à Ankit Bagchi, qui est donc basé à Kolkata et qui est responsable pour le Hummingbird International Film Festival, de nous aider et de nous proposer des films, des courts-métrages indiens ou autres. Et il nous a gentiment programmé 2 courts-métrages en indien et l'autre qui est d'un réalisateur qui est basé à Bangladesh, que nous allons rencontrer sous peu. Mais j'aimerais bien aussi avoir son avis, savoir un peu plus sur son festival. Du coup, on est partenaire avec le Hummingbird International Film Festival et je suis vraiment ravie qu'on ait ce partenariat pour créer des bonnes énergies et faire circuler des films entre pays et entre festivals. Voilà, donc je vais maintenant passer à l'anglais. So, I'm just coming to say what I just said very quickly in French. So we're delighted to have all 3 of you here with us. Ankit Bagchi from Hummingbird International Film Festival, you very kindly, and what a great idea to have proposed to program films for us, short films for us for Grenoble Indian Film Festival this year. I'm extremely happy, really delighted to have you and have these films. And so we've got 2 filmmakers, DEBASHIS with us, who is from Bangladesh. Fantastic, because we in the past have had Robayato Sen. Our very first edition was opened by Robayato Sen's film in 2017. Last year, we also had another film of Robayato Sen's, which was the only film in the hall because 2020 was a very particular year with COVID. So we're regularly in touch with our, let's say, friends from different countries. And we have SAUVIK Pandit, who's also part of the selection this year, thanks to Ankit. And SAUVIK's coming from Kolkata as well, if I've understood properly, yes. And who's bringing us another very interesting film. And so let me just get back to Ankit and get his views on his festival, but also of why he's presenting these 2 films in particular. Ankit.
So first of all, I'm very much thankful to Sonia Rano that she is doing. Ankit Bagchi. Am I audible? Am I audible? I couldn't.
Yes, yeah, yes, you're audible.
Okay, so the thing is, I'm Ankit Bagchi. I'm the programming director of Hummingbird Film Festival. One more thing, I want to name a person, that is Rajan Nath, my festival director of Hummingbird Film Festival. Both of us is like trying to do this festival for the very first year, and for this very very tough year for all of us, because all of us is like very in a tough situation from the COVID scenario. So like this is the very toughest year for every one of us. And one more thing that I want to tell you, that like why Hummingbird Film Festival is important, like why we are doing this festival, because it's the most important thing that after all of these years we lost the thing of understanding cinema in theaters, understanding cinema in a physical venue, and like seeing all persons, seeing all people in a same theater, same room, and getting the conversations and everything in a very live format. So all of these 2 years we missed all of these things. So for this year, this Hummingbird Film Festival is very crucial for all of us, because the thing is we are preparing to fight COVID, and we can successfully fought out of all of these. And luckily we can do this festival in a physical form. And most importantly, in all of these years we came up with different crises, struggles, and in these 2 years the whole world got changed. So the struggles of from different crises, economic, the different issues from all over the world, the whole dynamism from all over the world is got radically changed. So for us, this festival is very important in this way that hopefully we can show some things, we can show some important films from all over the world that comes up from the crisis, that comes up from the struggles, that tells about the stories of life and that tells about the story of hope. What we need in this time, life, and most importantly, hope. And for me, thanks a lot to Sonia for giving us the space to talk in this session and also to send us two films. I would mention two filmmakers, one from Bangladesh and one filmmaker SAUVIK Pandit from India. Both of them made a fabulous films, and why I sent them to the Grenoble Festival is because these two films are very real from their point of origin. Like what they seen in their land, what they seen in their roots, they tell the story of that only, which is very important for all of us. So this is the thing that why these two films are very important for me, and I would be very happy to show it to all of the French peoples, to all of the beautiful peoples of France to see these two films and to just to enjoy and like get the feedback that how they like the film and all. So thanks a lot again to Sonia for giving us a space to show our culture, to show our traditions, and to show us the exact thing that from where we are coming, which is the important thing for all of us. Thanks a lot.
Thanks very much, Ankit. That's really kind of you. And I'm sure that our audiences are going to have a great pleasure in watching and screening these films. The other thing that COVID has brought with everybody going online for the past year and a half now is that the online, you know, the notion of online in our minds is set once and forever, and we're very comfortable with that now. We're not worried about the quality of our Zoom you know, interviews. We're not worried about our conversations anymore, not complex about all the beauty of how things should be and what they should be. And this is a mode of communication today. Having films online has just gone into you know, being normal compared to before, where everything was a little you know, very uncomfortable and difficult to put things online, whereas now it's quite normal. And I think it's a wonderful step because we're getting access to films we'd never be able to see. I really am a hall person, cinema hall person, to have the experience of the hall, to get the feel and the sound and everything. But there is something that's happened, and when we can get one step ahead and say, well, we're sitting at home, let's get access to these and these films, and let's get access to these filmmakers anywhere in the world, I do think that that taboo has now broken and gone down, which is a wonderful step for all of us. I don't know if you agree with this, Devashish and SAUVIK, your views on this? Devashish?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Totally, I totally agree with this. Yeah.
Offer some new opportunities for the people like us to get connected, like this session.
And same thing for you, SAUVIK?
Yeah, this is the same thing for me also, because this is a great platform and we also can showcase our films and our creative point of views in front of so many audiences through these online what should I say, platform and all. And this is a two-way thing, because we have to also show our films, and people also have to they also have to watch the film. So this is a very advantage for both of the side. So really, I also think so. This is a very good what should I say, platform, and also initiative. The initiative is very good. very good.
Right. And something has changed in people's minds. They're accepting it very nicely. So it's a very good thing, huh? Till we have to live with this virus, and things are going to be quite slow from what we're gathering. That, you know, I mean, let's come back to the health part, because the vaccines aren't completely, I mean, not every country is equal in terms of vaccines, and things are getting better, even in France. We've you know, we're doing one big film in a hall and everything else is online. And then we have one short film also in a hall, but everything else we've kept online just to be on the safe side, because if last minute halls close, which is what happened last year, we don't want to be stuck with, you know, our films in halls and have the disappointment that you know, viewers could have. And the other thing is that we thought maybe we don't want it to be something that's going to be wasted. Mind you, I'm being very careful with my words. Wasted in terms of not everybody got to see this, and it's gone for this edition, and so the filmmaker's gone unnoticed. And so we want that complete spotlight for those 4 days. Anybody has access to your films, and that's wonderful for us, really wonderful. So just give me your views now. We don't have, I'm a big chatterbox, but I have to control myself with the time. And SAUVIK, give me a little bit of your background. So tell me exactly, you're in Kolkata. Tell me a little bit more about yourself.
I live in Kolkata. I live in Kolkata for my, I used to live in Kolkata for my study purpose, but I'm not from Kolkata actually. I'm from quite the northern side of West Bengal. West Bengal is a state of India. And I'm actually from Jalpaiguri. There is a district called Jalpaiguri, and I have also shot my film in Jalpaiguri. So this is the story of my homeland. And I stay in Kolkata for my study, for my work, and now I'm staying in Kolkata. But whenever I got any opportunity to go back to my homeland, I always I always go and spend time there. And for my background, I can say that I have done my graduation in mass communication and journalism. Then I have studied film studies for my master's, and now I'm making films and working as a creative director, program director, and writer in ABP Anand. That is a channel in Bengal, and that's it. And making films, and want to make films as much as possible.
So we've been in touch with Sri Venkatesh Films, and obviously the CEO is somebody who's been a friend of ours for many years, who gave us films when I was working with Marrakesh International Film Festival and programming for Marrakesh Film Festival for the Indian section there. And so we had obviously films like Raincoat, and we had films like Choker Bali that we took from them. Now they've stayed in touch with us, and I'm very close also to the Bengal school, and we our association Indian Cinema Events supported a project called Get Me to Cannes. We've always supported young filmmakers. We're part of, very close to the people at Cine Fondation Cannes Film Festival, which is also film school films. And we've sponsored the people to the short film corner, Abiru Basu to the short film corner in 2016. And then also Saurav Rai, who was an official selection, but did not have access to the whole festival. We said, let's finance you so that you can stay for the whole festival. So we've been doing all these things with young filmmakers and keeping them, and, you know, being close to them, following their work closely. So for me, it's interesting. Kolkata is an interesting place. Lots happens there in terms of culture and filmmaking. That's a very interesting place to be. Yeah. So that's something really interesting to know about you. I'll come back to you in a minute. Debashish, tell me, answer the same questions, please. Tell me a little bit, so same thing about your background.
Yeah, I'm Debashish Das. I have studied filmmaking from Bangladesh Cinema and Television Institute, the only government film institute here. It was open in 2013. And before that, I graduated on the subject of agricultural engineering from Bangladesh Agricultural University. From the very childhood, the attraction to the cinema is grown to me, and with the help of my friend, from a very early age, I started making some short films. I didn't know so much about cinema and how to make it, how to do it properly. I didn't know then, but I got that vibe to just be creative with camera and editing and just explore my path. So by this time, I had made some films, short films. Then I joined the organization, Short Film Societies and all. Then after graduation, I joined Bangladesh Cinema and Television Institute. Then 2 years post-graduation diploma has been completed very successfully. I have made 4 films there as a part of the study program. And this film, you are showing, The Ballad of a Geek, is a film from that film school. It was a workshop film for us in the 3rd semester program. So yes, film is all I know from when I didn't know about filmmaking, but you know, it is so powerful, and it is so close to me to think about anything art form. In my mind, to think anything about anything, I have to think in the manner of cinema and the temporal basis, you know. So I found that is the powerful language that I should carry and practice a lot. So I'm practicing right now. I'm making a short film, another new short film funded by Bangladesh government. Yes, I'm doing right now this film, and I'm just writing my first feature film. I've just completed the writing part, and it is about the city where I just brought up. This is Gazipur. It's near the Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh. It is the near district.
Right. So I'm coming back to the film itself. All right. Very interesting. Obviously, very interesting. I'm coming back to the synopsis. Now, when I've seen the film, when I come to, it's going to be really interesting for the French audience to discover this film. When you say experimental cinema, okay, say a few words about your film. How would you describe this film to your audience, to people? What would you say? Couple of lines, just speaking about, you know, what made you go into this, and how would you describe it?
You can call it. I perceive this film as a documentary, because it deals all the authentic thing, and the temple was there, is there, and the people, the marginal people is always around me, and I'm really interested in them, in their life, and the changes of their life by the changes of the city and everything. But there is a deep the film deals with some deep question, that how the city is changing, and how these people are going to be going to be migrated one, and going to be live here, because they are not important person, they are not important voter, they are not important for the rest of the society, but they are human, they deserve that kind of, you know, sensitivity and respect. But nobody think about that. But you know, I wanted to make this film to just portray their life as close as I just portray the philosophical aspect of life, which I got very truthful, that if you see something very thin and vulnerable, but it is not the main nature of it. It can be stronger than we can imagine. You know, it seems so easy. It seems so ignoring, but it is not that in the spirit of it, because the abandoned temple is there. It is about 200 years ago, 200 years ago or something like that, but it's still there. You know, you can ignore it, you can ignore this architecture, you can ignore the shadow it offers to you. So the people and the architecture, it's like the abundant thing. It is like the it is like we really in our life we are ignoring it. But I find it very strong and powerful to understand our past and understand the present, and to predict the future about the society by observing this kind of wallflower people, introvert people. Yeah.
Right. Okay, because it's there's different layers. I would say that's different layers of what one sees and the thought that there is behind it, and the philosophy, society, and then life itself. It's like life fleeting from birth to death, and the action of what there is. I'm not going to go too much into what I felt, but it's extremely deep. I mean, there's the thought that there is in terms of philosophy or thinking of life. It's extremely deep, that thought. The words matter. Every single word is chosen with care, I feel. And so yes, there's poetry in there, obviously. There's your mind, what you've done with the images that we will not describe, to not put any spoilers here. But yes, the sense of how fragile we are, and the dangers of life, and life just fleeting, and every single hour, every moment of what's going by, if I've understood properly. But there's something extremely deep. How old are you, Debashish?
I'm 30 years now.
Right. So still, even at 30, you don't look it, but even at 30, I mean, you've got a very deep reflection here to make people think about. There's a whole thought process that you want to bring about in people's mind, to get them reflecting about their lives, society, and things that there are. Which is really interesting, huh? Really interesting. I'm coming to SAUVIK. Same question for you. What was your idea of your film? What we have now, another very interesting film.
My film, I had a vision. I had a vision for a long time that whatever I see, I want to capture. I want to capture, and I want to store that. Not always I show them to people, but I capture so many scenarios whenever I go somewhere. I always uh, take pictures and make videos. And uh, as I said, that the place where I shot this film, that is my homeland, and I spent the longest time of my life at that place. So I have seen those things every day in regular basis. That I go to that place, I go to that specific place, I sit there for a long time, and I see that those people are coming back to their home. The cattle are coming back to their home, to their sheds and shelters, and that uh, that used to mesmerize me. I really love that kind of place, the ambience, that peace, and the river flows, and the river flows and flows, and always it flows uh, timelessly. So this was something I used to observe, and not that I observe for a day, for a week, for a long time, for years and years ago. Uh, I fell in love with that place and the people who live at that place. So I decided that why only me? I should capture these elements, and as a documentary with a documentarian elements, I should put up these things, and I should show the people that this is how they live at that place, this is how their life, and that much they are connected to nature, to the river, to that landscape. They are completely connected to each other, the nature and the human being. Not only the human being, but the creatures, the living beings, and the nature. They are so much connected at that place that these things always integrates me to show this to the world, that I find this very amazing and very beautiful, that nature and living beings can be so much connected. And I don't know why, but I really find this very beautiful and pure. So I don't think this is a fiction. This is not a fiction. This is a completely documentary. Yes, there is a vision of mine that the setup of the film, that how I want to show, that is I have planned, but the scenarios, whatever happens in the film, these are very natural. These are very natural. I never involved into that. I just observe, and my camera has observed the scenarios, the times, and all. That is it. That is
It's very interesting to hear that, because I mean, when I watched it, I was like, oh, this is a slice of life.
yeah.
Here's a
This
slice
is really
of
a
life.
slice of life. Yes,
So
yes.
so it got me sitting there, and I felt I was there on the banks, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
enjoying that peace and that moment of calm, and I was really traveling in this moment of COVID where we haven't been able to move,
yes,
thinking
yes,
I
yes,
could be
yes.
peacefully sitting there, but how lucky he is to have that in front of his
Yes.
eyes when, okay,
Truly,
I have the mountains, I have the French
that
Alps, but
that
I
was the
mean,
actually aim. That was the
but
actually aim of making the film.
but you've got a river, so you've
Yeah,
got water. Now, water is extremely peaceful. So
yes,
yes, and there's all these elements that you've got, obviously, and then you know India and the symbolism that there is with our Indian rivers, religion, the spirituality, and all that. I think that was
obviously.
there's obviously we've got Hotel Salvation. These films were with Adil Hussain and obviously the Benares and all
Yes.
that. So the symbolic that there is, but also the daily life and
Daily life, yes.
life going by, like I said, the reflection with Devashish of, but sometimes we wake up and we say, oh, but this, have I noticed this? Is this, oh, did this happen in the past? Oh, yes, it did. And, oh, I see this every day. But we need to tell ourselves that to convince ourselves about that. Sometimes we're like, oh, it's been 15 years, I've never noticed this river, or I've never noticed, oh, there's this tree and I'm seeing it for the first time and I've lived here for 30 years, So there's these little things that make us like come back to life and feel alive and feel that we're connecting and part of this whole universe and in communion with things and with people. And it gives us also this sense of being rooted with places and feel comfort and this sense of feeling home. How would you in 2 words define this sort of films that you want to show and share with people? You've said a little bit about it, but go a little bit more into detail with what really made you tick and say, well, I want to be a filmmaker because this is what I want to show. For you personally.
Should I go first?
Yeah, well, Debashish.
Yeah. Actually, I don't be so
Or even
certain.
for your own motive, say, I want to study cinema because this is what I want to do. I want to show it. I want to be able to create this and bring it out on film.
I'm not sure that what should I bring out, and I'm not sure about that, but I'm sure about the process and the honesty to stick with it. I have time. I have time to offer. I have time to offer. I have some design timeline to offer you, and that timeline is full of my thoughts, my beliefs, or my questions about around me. Sometimes I feel that I have to make film on this topic, and after that the topic just vanish itself. Then another thing comes, but it is a outcome of that previous thing. So it is like the stream of the river. The thought process, it's also a stream of river, and the cinema is for me, filmmaking is a journey to just to be alert, to be attuned, to be just witness, and through practicing, I feel myself so close to it, so close to the image. Once Jonas Mekas said, image are innocent, peoples are not. So all the the rest is, or image will be the residue, but the person will be not there forever. But image has the longer time length than a human body has, than a human has. So image is so powerful to capture the image with the temporal basis, with the time progression. The images changes itself. The image conveys so many different things. It offers so many different thoughts and everything. So this is a complex medium, and I find myself, and my mind is so complex. I can't think so this is the time of complexity. We have seen so many things in front of us every day, every time. So it is so many things, is always there. So my mind is full of that, so many things, and I just try to find a single narrative, a single way out to just that unorganized, unimportant thoughts and everything, just to be one entity. I just want the thoughts to be just one entity, and I find that cinema is most powerful for me to convey that thing. I just want to generate some thoughts. I just convey my feelings, and the feelings that should have, that a sensible person should have, I thought that should have. So I want to convey the feelings through the images, through the time images, and I found cinema is so powerful and unique medium for me to express my thoughts and my beliefs and my questions and my philosophies towards it. And I think within time, it will take time maybe, but it will surely communicate with the audience in a different level. I don't know in how it connects, but it will definitely, because there is something in common in us, there is a soul thing and everything. So there is a common station of everyone. I just want my train to go that station and wait for you. You will come, I know, and we'll meet at the same plane as a filmmaker and a film watcher, whatever. I find it is so communicative. It is powerful to evoke, to generate ideas. New ideas should come. It is the demand of time. And for me and my psyche, about my psyche, I find that I'm a complex. I have a complex mind, and cinema helps me to be simple out of that complexities.
That's interesting. Very interesting. Again, those very deep thoughts, but it's interesting the way you put it. So I'm not going to change anything. Obviously, I won't be, adding anything to that. I think it was very clear. Sauvik, what about you?
I completely agree with Debashish. I always felt this the same way, and but I started my creative works as a writer. I started writing at my very early age, from when I was in school at class 5, 6. I started writing, but when I started watching cinema, I felt that this is the most influential, I find personally, the most influential form of art. So, because whatever the context, whatever the subject, whenever I used to watch a film, I always was influenced by the film. I connected with the film very easily. So I find that, like me, there will be so many people in the world who are like me, who will be very easily connected with the film, who will be very easily influenced by a film. And with image, you can say so much things at a time. Uh, in writing, you have to write a page, a 2-page or 3-page, but one image can say so many things that you cannot describe by your words. And that was mesmerizing for me. That was amazing finding, a discovery to me, that and from that point, I started photography, the still image. And when, and always I used to be a cinephile. I watch so many cinema.
Okay, tell me what influenced you? What are the influences? Because that's my next question.
Yeah, my most influential aspect was started watching films like I have to mention one film at least, which is Pather Pachali, and that is very common for so many filmmakers. And also, I was completely mesmerized, and I was completely what should I say? I don't have any words to describe that state of my mind. I was like, what is it? How is it possible that it gives me that vibe, but at the same time that is so much simple, that is not very hyped something or nothing like that. So that film of Satyajit Ray has changed my point of view of watching a cinema. And then I started finding other films like, and always I used to watch so many kinds of films. Like at the same time, when I started watching films by Satyajit Ray, Hrithik Ghatak, Mrinal Sen, and Kumar Sahani, Monique Hall, at the same time I used to watch Alfred Hitchcock and Godard and Truffaut and so many people like Michelangelo Antonioni, and I got an exposure which was quite a spreading, like quite a wide. So and then I find that medium is so much influential and so much strong that I can say so many things but I cannot describe by my writing and any other art form. I think music has a very powerful what should I say, powerful uh, what should I say? I don't have any words to describe that. That music can impact. Yes. This is the right form. That impact on our minds. But I personally find that cinema will be that much of impactful for me to say whatever I want to say to my audiences. So from that point, I decided that I will study cinema and I will make films to easily that word easily that will I really use, because I always wanted to find that which form of art can easily communicate with people. So I personally find that cinema can do that very easily, and you can you can uh, say and you can describe so many things at the same time with two, three, few shots and images. That is really amazing. Uh, that is something magic I find. So
Debashish, I'm coming back to you. Give me your influences, like Sauvik just gave his influences. What have you had as influences as a
So many
filmmaker?
films and filmmakers, so many film masters and so many films has influenced me over this time. But to say some names, I have to start with Hrithik Ghatak. So the Chobik. Hrithik Ghatak is my inspiration as well as Satyajit Ray. But Hrithik Ghatak he's so big in his cinema. You can't tell any easy thing about his film and his nature. His film is totally epic form and doesn't have any conclusion part, doesn't have any resolution part, 3-act structure. It is going on and spreads like branches. It's like the tree, and it's just going up and just branches and branches are coming. Hrithik Ghatak, and second name will be Sergei Parajanov. I'm really much influenced by him. When I've seen at the first time in my life The Color of Pomegranates, it is I was in awe. I'm just mesmerizing. I never thought about anything. It changed the whole concept of cinema from my mind. Cinema is not for understanding. It is watching, and watching is not just a thing that you see and just something is happening in front of your eyes and you go back. No, it's not. Watching is becoming. Through watching you become a different person. So the before I saw this film, I was a different person, and through this film, just watching it, and I'm developing or becoming to a different thing, different person, different, I don't know what, but it offers enlightenment instantly. So I was moved by this film. And then Abbas Kiarostami was a great inspiration for me. Miklos Yangsho, Belata, Tarkovsky, it's a great influence for me. And Manikol, yes, Manikol, Kumar Shahani, they have influenced me a lot. And the recent filmmaker like in India, Amit Datta is really I liked his film, and Gurubinder Singh, I really liked his film. Even Payal Kapadia, I liked her film. I saw it recently, and I should say one name. This is Manjire Hasin Murad. He's my teacher, and he's a pioneer documentary figure in Bangladesh. He really helped me to discover this world of documentary, and I've just moved by that. My favorite filmmaker is Anis Varda. What film! The Gleaners and I changed my life, just changed my life. And then Ross McLuey and Alan Berliner, like filmmaker, personal documentary filmmaker. It's really I like them. So it is, I liked epic cinema as well as melodramatic cinema and slow cinema. I really love Diaz. I love him. And I really like long take cinema. I really like cinema offers something very interesting and experimented, something, those cinema is trying to be something. It is so fond of me. I really like that cinema. Some cinema is like completeness. Cinema is totally has done completely, and it conveys its message completely. I don't find anything in it. I don't find interest in that cinema. Cinema is an offer to be participant as a witness, and as a watcher. It is an active artwork, not for the maker, but the viewers, because they can take part actively in it is so unique thing in cinema, I consider. So these names and lots of other names, filmmakers and film influenced me a lot.
It's interesting what you're saying, because there's a role to play. We feel that, cinemas, I'm going to be just the viewer. I'm sitting in the hall and I receive what's being given to me. People don't realize that, yes, this is going to be changing something in the way you live, the way you think, the way you feel. And this is, it's got a cathartic, obviously, role as well, that we feel better. Why do we have, the feel good cinemas? And there's all that for us to feel better, to look at ourselves better, to get society to work better. There's so much going on with this form of art, which is, like you said, so complete. Now, Debashish and SAUVIK, one last thing, because we're just not doing super long interviews, because I'm not saying too much about the films. I want the people to feel it, like you said, the people to digest this. Not speaking too much about it, so that they go and also form their own ideas of what they saw and how they interpret what they saw. So just one last thing about what is now coming after this short film. You spoke about a feature film. Give me a couple of words about that. What is the next step for you?
I've just completed writing it, the script. I gave a name to it. I'm not sure that gonna be last. The name is An Ancient Fish and Factories. This is a story about two kinds of people. One is migrated people, come from different area of our country, and they come here in my city and become a cheap labor of industrial factories and garments. So there are lots of migration is happening right now in my city, and some people and a group of people who are in minor community belongs, and they are all fishermen, and the water is going so polluted here because of the factories and everything, and the land is occupied by the rich businessmen and everything, and that migrated people, they're facing so many problems, and besides that, they have health problem. They had to face the doctor line, and huge waiting is there in the waiting room to just get into a doctor's room and be checked up, and then you have to take so many medicines, and besides this, you have a problem with your land against a big businessman, and there is no fish in the water body near to your home. So it's a story about a fisherman, a middle-aged fisherman, who's facing these problems, and he's so observing, and he observes the migrated people there from different places. They are coming to his city and doing so good. So they're doing well, and they are not doing well. So there is a dichotomy between these two group of people. But in the end of the film, we have come to know they're the same. They're playing a same role from a different point of view, from the point of view of that rich businessman point of view. So they are just they made them to be they made the differentiate between these two people, but they had to be united. By the end of the film, we find that they feel that they have to be united, and an ancient fish, the fish underwater fish is every night comes out of the water and helps Chittaranjan, that fisherman, to catch fishes. That ghost is so compassionate, and he knows that fish will not gonna be here very long. So he had to, that ghost felt that he had to help that fisherman to become a fisherman for some days more.
Interesting. So we're going to look forward to this. Sauvik, what's your next project?
Yeah, my next project is actually I'm working on the post-production section of a film, which will be my next. I don't know. This can be a feature. This can be a short, because I have taken a kind of a challenge, or whatever. What should I say? Kind of a experimental thought. Like I will make a film which will be made through the making of through the process of making that film, through the process of editing the film. In particular, in this film, I had not planned out that what will be the length of that film. So I'm making that film, I'm editing that film, and it's progressing. But as your previous question, the influences and the influence of cinema and the filmmakers, this film, my next one, this is actually a mixture of my influences. Like I have not written any script. I have just borrowed the dialogues from the films which I really look up to. Like so many films from world cinema, from many languages, from many countries. The films which has a great impact on me as a filmmaker, I have just borrowed those dialogues, and I had a story, and I have put those dialogues into those. So I really don't know what is going to be, but I really find this very what should I say, interesting, exciting. That this will be something which reflects my own influences, and also this will be something new. I don't know, good or bad, but this is something which, as a filmmaker, I also don't know. Uh, Whenever it completes, it will be something which will also surprise me. So this is the next project of mine.
Okay, so I'm really grateful to you to have participated. We're going to be extremely happy to be showing your films for 4 days, and this is now your home, and you'll always be welcome to Grenoble Indian Film Festival. We'll always be there, and whether it's that or whether it's us at Cannes, we are going to meet you and hopefully see you and guide you if we can. I'd be delighted to meet you in person. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing and following your work, and know that now you have a new family, and we're there with you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot to you.
Thank you so much for this wonderful platform.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this wonderful interview, and thank you so much.
It will definitely gives us hope and energy to be in this path.
Well, there's a lot of people like us. There's a lot of people like us who are interested in films, who have a passion for films, who spend all their time in Cannes till 4 a.m. in the morning, sitting in little cafes, listening to people's scripts and listening to the projects, and who never get tired of this. And I think it's vital that, this is our fuel. This for PR people like us, for communications people like us. I've been a filmmaker in the past in France, and so I feel for how long it takes to get into a project, for the time that there is between when you think of it and when it really gets to the audiences. And I also keep saying every year at Cannes that if you have a film that's on YouTube, doesn't matter. If you got a channel where you have 1 or 2 of your short films running there for free, films have to be out free in terms of some short films showcasing you, because this is your CV. Your CV is not a paper CV. It is not a LinkedIn CV. Even if I tell you to come create a profile on LinkedIn, I'm an extremely active person on LinkedIn in terms of pushing students to be there. I'm also a teacher at the university here in France, and pushing students to go network, build up their network, their fan following, get there. Anurag's been very good with this. Anurag Kashyap, he's really created it and built it up. I remember, obviously working with Anurag and promoting Black Friday in 2004, and we just, it was difficult to get our filmmakers, our producers to go back a film like that. And I love the fact that from 2004 to 2021, Anurag's the same person. He's never stopped. He's still as passionate. He's still as stubborn. It's wonderful. It's wonderful to have stubborn people. Do not become a filmmaker, I tell them, if you're not stubborn. You got to be totally big-headed, right? Because the whole world is saying, no, don't go. No, don't make it. No, don't get into this profession. And you're saying against the whole world, you're going, yes, I want to do this. Yes, I'm going to do it. And yes, I have done it. So you're disappointing everyone at every moment. But it's the most beautiful thing, because when you start feeling well in your head and your heart, that positive energy and that sunshine that you're going to be bringing out to people, there's no words to define that. There's no words to define that. And this year for the Palme d'Or, Julia, that's what she said, because she made this film called Raw, which is about, vets, and it's about this whole process of ragging and, the vet students, veterinarian students, and how this girl, comes to taste meat and blood and flesh and all that. So this year, obviously, this gore film, she's come back with another gore film, and then she wins the Palme d'Or, and everyone goes, oh my goodness. It's, first of all, it's a woman. Nobody said that loud, but we could hear that. And second was, oh God, another gore film that nobody could understand, and people were getting sick in the hall, and people were fainting in the hall, and people were coming out of the hall feeling sick. And I was like, but this is cinema, guys. Why did you go into the hall if you're not ready for these reactions? Cinema is not there to give you comfort. There's the real cinema that we're looking forward to, and this is why it's the world's #1 festival, is to get a reaction from you. So that's what it did, and I was really happy. I haven't seen it yet, but I really want to see it, because this is the whole point of what you've just said, Debashish and SAUVIK, what you've just said. You're not the sorts of people who want to sit there with comfortable cinema and it's like reading a Mills and Boon's book, which is another type of things that people want as well. There's moments that we all want that as well, but this is what you've gone into is on top of that. It's going to be hard to find a producer with what you've chosen. It's going to be hard to get your story across to people with what you've chosen. So I'm interested, obviously, to also say, well, I, for 20 years now, know a whole lot of producers. And what I'm also doing is introducing filmmakers to producers, co-production with France, co-production with Singapore, co-production with India, co-production with London, Germany, etc. Distribution. We partners with every film that comes out in France. We are also introducing filmmakers to distributors and stuff. So we're in this whole process, understanding every bit of how difficult every bit of everything is. And then obviously there's the factor of motivation, saying, well, oh, I made it 2 years ago and look, I'm still struggling. And we say it doesn't matter. And now with COVID, these past 18 months, we can't even speak of time, because the cupboards are full of films. Everyone's waiting for their film to come out, but the cupboards are full. And there's stacks on the tables with lots of films waiting to come out. Never mind, I say go with the flow. Your film sooner or later will be out. Meanwhile, it's out with our festival. So it's fantastic, which is, everything is progress. Every step forward is progress, you know. And what you want, ultimately, you want the audience to see your film. We're creating that audience.
Yes.
And we educate them on that, you know, and saying, well, oh, do you know that only Bollywood doesn't come out of India? And when we promoted our Bollywood Day in Paris, very happily with Mother India, with Sholay, with Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, but also with, you know, Kal Ho Na Ho, so that people would get a feel of the different sorts of films, but also films like Mathrubhumi. We've been partners, Manish Jha's film. If you've seen Mathrubhumi,
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. So this is in 2005. Vijay Singh's film $1 Curry in Paris. Obviously Devdas, we have the Devdas Lagans, we were there right at the beginning of that. And then we've had, you know, films like, all of Pan Nalin's films. Nalin's a close friend, and we've had all of Nalin's films. Yes, so many very different types of films, so that people get to see what there is coming out of India, that it's very varied. The sort of film we have, Sunrise, a film like Sunrise, which is like hyper arty, and the fact that you know, he studied at the FEMIS in Paris. There's also all these interesting things to do with the film schools. And then there's, you know, Vajra's film this year is an animation film. And Vajra's Indian. He's studying in Paris at the Gobelin Animation School, which is what, the world's biggest animation school. And I mean, he's Indian and he's in Paris. How could we not take his film? Gobelin is the place where DreamWorks comes and recruits. Pixar comes in recruits, Disney comes in recruits, and we've got an Indian filmmaker there. So we take these opportunities to say, well, we're you know, got an eye on you. We're deeply, passionately, truly interested. We're not in Cannes for the red carpet. We really are there for the work that there is, all the filmmaking, the scripts, the projects. What's the energy coming out? And how can we take things forward? And one of the things that we want to take it forward is with this good energy and interaction. And the festival is the best showcase with interaction, with, you know, what there is. So this year is our 5th edition. We, you know, have been there, and we we have this empathy. I know that it's not always understood. I think that anyone who's maybe in filmmaking is like hypersensitive.
Compassionate. Yes.
Compassionate, totally compassionate. You leave everything to go out and do something to just get feelings across. And who does that? You know, so it's the best way. And we're so fragile, you know, when anyone who's a filmmaker is really fragile. You're just bearing your soul to everybody. Not everybody understands. And at the same time, it's such a beautiful medium because people do connect.
Yes.
And what people remember is, you know, in these difficult moments, what people remember is, do you remember that scene from that film? It made me feel like this. And do you remember this music from that scene? Well, you know, this is the thing that I want my wedding day to be like. You know, we have these stupid ideas. I don't know if you've got these stupid ideas, but this is because this is life. It's life in life, you know. And we want to stick with that. We want to connect with that. All of us need that, physically, emotionally, mentally, psychologically. And you give it to us as filmmakers. So this is better than medicine. So keep giving it to us. And thanks a million for being with us during this festival.
Pleasure is all ours. Thanks to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much. I'm quoting a line from the film Coffee and Cigarettes, Jim Jarmusch. Here one character said that what the product you can't afford, it will come as a free. It will come free. You know, if you can't afford it, then that product is just comes to you free, like you, Sonia. So I don't know.
Well,
so
I think we.
It's really it's a good experience to you know, get connected to you and listens to you. Really, it gives me so positive vibe, and you are appreciating. You are just telling that don't give up, and this sounds is really get energy. Gives me energy to just be in my role.
Well, that's very kind, but I think that's also the teacher in me. Yeah, that's also the teacher, and saying, well, you know, to students today more than ever, you're saying, don't give up. And when you've seen students last year, I've had cinema students, masters 1 and 2 cinema, and you're telling them at the university, well, there's people who are wanting to stop. There's people who are going through depression. They can't cope with these Zoom classes. And you're telling them, giving them hope and saying, well, I don't know how to give you hope. It's hard to give you hope. And I've been through COVID and went through pneumonia and was sick for a whole year and had long COVID. But it gives me hope to say, well, this is the edition 2021. Hey, you know what? We've moved ahead. It's been a year. And doesn't that feel fantastic? Well, this year, the big difference is we're all vaccinated. Look, wow, 50 million, over 50 million people vaccinated in France. Isn't that a big, ray of hope? In India, 750 million people vaccinated, half of India is vaccinated. And I've been quite critical of what's been happening with the COVID crisis, but seeing that it's going so fast with the vaccines in India, it gives me hope. It gives me hope. And I think that we will get out of it. Obviously, we'll get out of it. And how can we not be optimistic? Because if there's one field where people have to hang in there and have to keep hope, it's filmmaking. You don't know where the money's going to come from. You don't know where the producer is going to come from. You have no idea what's going to come from where. And things just fall at the right time in place. And it just happens. And look at you, you've got your short films out. Isn't that beautiful?
It is. You know, it is the most beautiful thing that comes out of this.
So this is a gift for us. It's a beautiful gift. And thank you so much for all this. And let's stay in touch. Thanking, obviously, Ankit and Hummingbird International Film Festival for their intervention, for programming these 2 films with us. And we're there to follow you. And we're extremely happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Sonia.
so much. Thank you so much, Sonia. Thank you so much, Ankit Bagchi, for your wonderful introduction also. And thank you, Ankita. You were really amazing. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you for this amazing interview, for the platform. Thank you so much. This is really
See you
incredible,
soon.
and
See
best
you
wishes for the festival. And
Let's
looking
stay in
forward to it.
touch, huh?
Really,
We will.
we will.
A bientôt means see you soon in French. A bientôt.
A bientôt.
A bientôt.
Okay,
A
aviento,
A bientôt.
aviento, aviento.
Wow.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.